An SEC network host called the Big Ten hot garbage and a college football Ponzi scheme. Not only is he wrong, it's time for us to put him in his place. And he owes us an apology. Locked On Big Ten starts right now.
You are Locked On Big Ten, your daily podcast on the Big Ten Conference. Part of the Locked On Podcast Network, your team every day.
Welcome to Locked On Big Ten. I'm Craig Shemon, 40 years as a sports talk show host and play-by-play announcer, and I want to thank you for making us your first listen each and every day. We are free and available wherever you get your podcasts and on YouTube, part of the Locked On Podcast Network, your team every day. Hit that free subscribe button down below while you're watching. We're making a push to 20,000 subscribers, and share, like, and follow so you don't miss a single episode. Today's episode is brought to you by Monarch Money. Take control of your finances with Monarch Money. Use code LOCKEDONCOLLEGE at monarchmoney.com for 50% off your first year. So, an SEC network host ripped the Big Ten. Michigan State has a new athletic director. Wisconsin has some recruiting wars. And USC gets another big recruit for 2026. We'll have our top 10 Big Ten observations of the weekend as well. But first, Peter Burns is a host on ESPN's SEC network. And apparently he is a Twitter keyboard warrior who just shredded the Big Ten out of nowhere. He said that the league is hot garbage and a college football Ponzi scheme. And we're here to put him in his place. Brief backstory here. Last week, the SEC held meetings, their spring meetings that took place in Destin, Florida. And they were a gold mine for media. Absolutely. All the talking points every day. Because every day, SEC Commissioner Greg Sankey, he emerged from these meetings to talk to the media repeatedly. And frankly, he's got a lot on his plate. And he's willing to talk about it. And it makes for great fodder and opinion pieces. And it's fantastic. So from a media standpoint, that's a great thing. Because, again, he's got a lot of power. And a lot of decisions to make here within the next calendar year. SEC scheduling 9 conference games instead of 8 to match the Big Ten. That's on his plate. He is also considering scheduling non-conference football games between the SEC and the Big Ten. And he has to decide mostly on the future of the college football playoffs and what format to use beyond this year, because he and Commissioner Tony Petitti from the Big Ten have all the decision-making power moving forward. All the other conferences, of course, gave them that power so that the Big Ten and the SEC didn't leave everybody else behind and do their own thing, which everyday viewers to this podcast and listeners to this podcast know that we think is in the process of that happening anyway. Big Ten and SEC are going to go do their own thing. But I digress. We've done plenty of that recently in our discussion talking points. But let's not forget some of the other things that are going on. While Sankey's talking every day and trying to make all these big decisions, and of course the Big Ten as well, there's Big 12 Commissioner Brett Yormark and ACC Commissioner Jim Phillips. They're kind of softly tippy-toeing. They don't want to hurt any feelings, but they're also warning Sankey that he and Tony Petitti owe it to college football to do what's best for college football and not what is necessarily best for the Big Ten and the SEC. I'm not sure Sankey and Petitti agree with their colleagues on that matter. In fact, Sankey, through the media, pretty much told Yormark and Phillips to pipe down. He says, look, I got a lot of decisions to make here, and I don't need lectures from other people about the good of the game. He seemed pretty irritated, actually. I kind of enjoyed it. It was fun. So with Sankey talking last week just every single day, we noted that his open public approach was much different than that of Tony Petitti of the Big Ten. In fact, the Big Ten held its spring meetings in Los Angeles the week before. Didn't make a single headline out of the whole thing. Petitti didn't talk to the media. It was a stark contrast in styles. In fact, with all the media attention that Sankey received last week, one of my colleagues asked me, when is the Big Ten going to have their meeting? Sankey's making all this news, and he's taking all the arrows. And my friend was surprised when I told him the Big Ten already had their meetings. Yeah, It's just quiet as a mouse. But others noticed. ESPN's Adam Rittenberg, he tweeted that it was worth noting. He said, no league dominates the media discussion like the SEC. A whole week of media at the spring meetings, while the Big Ten did none of it at its meetings last week. He went on to go and say, smart on the SEC's part, especially coming off a season where the league was objectively down, quote unquote. All right. The fact is, Rittenberg's tweet was accurate and I think observant. But I think that last part of his tweet about the SEC coming off a down year, I think that got under the skin of SEC Network host Peter Burns, don't you? Peter Burns fired back on Twitter or X. He said, quote, the Big Ten is quiet because they understand over half their league is hot garbage and only prop up a small amount of true quality contenders they have. They run a highly successful college football Ponzi scheme, quote unquote. How about that? He made the Ponzi scheme, meaning that that's a deck of cards, got a few strong teams up top and nothing below. That's what he's saying. Now, admittedly, it's been a while, but Peter Burns used to come on my local radio show somewhat periodically, and I generally enjoyed our conversations. But he's dead wrong here. Dead wrong. And he's wrong to say what he said. In fact, it's this exact SEC arrogance that rubs a lot of college football fans the wrong way. Here are the facts. The SEC did have a down year last year in football, a very down year. And everybody who is objective about it will admit it. If you need proof, let's recap a few things. That's what we like to do. Alabama lost to Vanderbilt, for crying out loud. Then they only scored 3 points against Oklahoma, and that was a bad Sooners football team. Georgia wasn't Georgia last year because Carson Beck wasn't that good of a quarterback. I even mentioned how Ohio State absolutely obliterated SEC school Tennessee in the college football playoffs. And they beat Texas as well. In case you're unsure, Ohio State's a Big Ten team. Tennessee and Texas are SEC teams. Okay. I didn't even mention how the SEC embarrassed itself against the Big Ten at bowl games. As I recall, Michigan, a team without a quarterback, ended up beating Alabama in their bowl game. How about that? Without a quarterback. That's hard to do in today's day and age. In fact, they beat Alabama twice within a 364-day period. If you want to go back to the playoffs the previous year. That was the game that forced Nick Saban into retirement. And didn't 10-win Illinois get its 10th win versus South Carolina, an SEC team in a bowl game? I'm just saying. The last two national championships belong to Michigan and Ohio State. And frankly, the Big Ten has a great chance of a third straight national championship. Penn State is loaded this year. And other schools like Oregon and Ohio State, they're going to be coming. Michigan's going to be back to being Michigan. You just watch. Just watch. The truth is, every conference has some dominating teams at the top and some weaker teams at the bottom. Big Ten, SEC, ACC, Big 12. So I'm not sure that his Ponzi scheme comment was fair. That was a low blow. And in fact, I think his entire tweet was hot garbage. Let's bring on the comments. You do what you do. Hit us up with the comments on YouTube, everybody. Also, be sure to hit that free subscribe button, and you'll never miss a single episode of Locked On Big Ten. Also invite you to share, follow, and like Locked On Big Ten. And don't forget to pick up your Big Ten gear with all of our podcasts on our website, talkbig10.com. Check it out. Hit us up with the comments. I want to hear from you. I want to hear from you Big Ten fans. I want to hear from SEC fans. Do you have a leg to stand on here? Coming up, we got a lot to talk about. USC, they are rolling for the class of 2026. They got another big one, a guy that they've been battling Oregon with, a player we've been talking about here on this podcast. We'll give you the details there. Plus, College Softball World Series, Big Ten teams involved there. Some thrillers for the Bruins, good and bad. Big Ten teams in baseball's NCAA regional. Plus, we'll have our top 10 observations. Oh, and congratulations, Michigan State got an athletic director. We got a lot to do. It's all right here on Locked On Big Ten. Monarch Money helps you when you're going, man, where did all my money go? We've gone through the weekend. I just got paid a couple days ago. It's all gone. What's going on? Monarch Money can help you and kind of get you down in. Are you spending too much money shopping or online shopping or going out to eat or entertainment? It's easy to lose track. We all do it. That's where Monarch Money comes in. It's your personal CFO, giving you full visibility and control over your finances. Monarch Money isn't just a budgeting app. It's a complete financial command center. You can track all of your accounts, investments, spending all in one place. So you stop just managing your money and you start building wealth. They have a lot of great insights for you as to where your money is going, and all-in-one convenience. Bring all your apps together so you're not all over the place with these apps, maybe a credit card here and a bank there. You can manage your money with your partner, all in one place. Take control of your finances with Monarch Money. Use the code LOCKEDONCollege at monarchmoney.com for 50% off your first year. That's monarchmoney.com, code LOCKEDONCollege for half off your first year. Well, thank you for making Locked On Big Ten your first listen each and every day, especially you everydayers out there. Always appreciate that. Meanwhile, be sure to hit that free subscribe button down below. Share, follow, and like Locked On Big Ten, your team every day. And also, don't forget our website, talkbig10.com as well. All right, let's get you caught up with what's going on with, we'll get to the USC recruiting stuff and Michigan State's AD in just a moment. But the women's softball College World Series. Sunday, what a great game that was Sunday. Unfortunately, it didn't work out for the UCLA ladies. They lose to Tennessee 5-4. They had a ninth inning walk-off RBI single. But the middle of that game, Megan Grant had a game-tying home run. 2 outs in the 7th inning. Season on the brink right there. Now, a little controversy there. We don't think she touched home plate. They reviewed it. She came in, all of her teammates were waiting for her to celebrate, and it looked like she may have overstepped home plate and didn't actually touch it. They reviewed it, but the umpire said, yes, she didn't touch it, and it was assisted because she was touching other players and all that. But he says it's not reviewable. I don't know why they reviewed it. It's not reviewable, so the home run counted. And the game was tied, and we went on from there 4-4 until Tennessee ended up winning that game. As we speak, for this Monday podcast, we're recording late Sunday, and the Oregon and Oklahoma are underway right now in an elimination game. Saturday, back to UCLA for a moment. They did lose to Texas Tech 3-1. UCLA shortstop Kenia Bragg had a home run in that game. Thursday's opening round, UCLA beat Big Ten foe Oregon 4-2. Another walk-off situation. 2 runs in the bottom of the 7th with Jessica Clemens hitting a home run to dead center field. Meanwhile, Oregon has been living on the edge after that loss to UCLA. They turned around on Friday and beat Ole Miss in 10 innings, mind you, 6-5. Lindsey Green, 9 1/3, 144 pitches. Woo! Get the ice out for the shoulder. 7 strikeouts there. So, and again, Oregon playing as we speak right now. We'll recap all that in tomorrow's podcast. Speaking of recaps, the NCAA baseball regionals throughout the weekend. We had some Big Ten teams in action there. UCLA softball, UCLA baseball. Baseball beat Fresno State 19-4 in the LA regional in that opening game. And USC also an offensive show out there, 13-1, beating TCU in the opening of their Corvallis regional. Oregon then lost 6-5 to Utah Valley at home, at the Eugene Regional. And then Nebraska lost to Oklahoma 7-4 out in Chapel Hill. Remember, this is double elimination. So that's how we started. Saturday, Oregon was then eliminated with a 10-8 loss to Cal Poly. UCLA beat Arizona State 11-5 in their win there. Just another offensive explosion. Nebraska, they stayed alive with a 4-1 win over Holy Cross, and then USC beat St. Mary's 6-4. And on to Sunday, Oklahoma did eliminate Nebraska 17-1 in Chapel Hill. So the Huskers season comes to an end there. again, just like we mentioned with the softball going late, the baseball going, UCLA and USC with games 10 p.m. Eastern, 7 Pacific, right when we're recording. So we'll recap all that tomorrow as we get forward toward the super regionals that are coming up. And we wish all these Big Ten teams the best. We want as many Big Ten teams moving on as possible. All right. From softball and baseball, let's talk a little football. I want to catch up with a player that we've been talking about over the past couple of weeks here in the recruiting wars. And 4-star Mark Bowman has announced he's going to USC. He's a 6'5" tight end from Southern California, going to stay home. He picked Lincoln Riley over Oregon. Oregon and USC, there's a handful of kids that these guys have been battling for in high school recruiting and also trying to flip and transfer portal stuff. They've been going after a lot of the same kids. Mark Bowman choosing USC. That's big. He was also considering Georgia and Texas. He is the number 3 tight end in the entire 2026 class. He was 2027. He reclassified. And the Trojans still have the number 1 recruiting class in the class of 2026 by far. Michigan State has an athletic director. They hired Georgia Tech athletic director, J Batt, and he's coming in. The school's moving on from Alan Holler. We said when they made the announcement that they were making the change that the school will now be looking to hire an athletic director with more abilities in the fundraising sales pitch area. And in fact, this is what major athletic directors of the future are going to be looking like everywhere. If you don't have ability to raise some money, you can't be an athletic director anymore. So that's just what college football is looking like right now. Batt seems to fit the bill there. He had been at Georgia Tech since 2022, and he's got a rep for fundraising and generating money. According to his bio, donations reportedly jumped 43% his first year at Georgia Tech, and he also secured naming rights for their stadium. And the most interesting aspect, I think, of his resume is that he is one of 10 athletic directors on the implementation committee. What is the implementation committee? That's the ones that will process how college athletics will move forward with a House settlement and the new world of revenue sharing. And so he's right in the middle of that as well. And you remember, for a brief time, basketball coach Tom Izzo and also Jennifer Smith, they had acted as co-interim athletic directors while the school conducted a search for a new athletic director, which, by the way, I got to hand it to him. It only took him a few weeks to find somebody. Pretty good. As long as we're talking about Michigan State, a 3-star tight end commit, Eddie Whiting has reaffirmed his commitment to Michigan State following his official visit with Jonathan Smith. He's a top 30 tight end in the country, class of 2026. He chose Michigan State over Michigan, Illinois, Iowa, Nebraska, UCLA, Washington, and Wisconsin, basically every team in the Big Ten. Also had offers from Alabama and Auburn and Florida as well. So he's very sought out. He's from South Dakota, but he seems to have an affinity for the Big Ten. Staying in the Big Ten, of course, because that's what we do. Let's talk about Wisconsin. Luke Fickell and Lane Kiffin down there at Ole Miss. They're battling for a couple of the same kids here. Carmelo Reed, he's a Wisconsin recruit. He's visiting Ole Miss right now. He's a 3-star edge rusher who says he didn't want to sell himself short and he wants to see what else is out there. It doesn't sound like he's very committed. There's Zion Legree. He is a 3-star. He is decommitting from Ole Miss. He's a 6'1" wide receiver from Pensacola. He's got 22 offers. Florida and Florida State in his own state want him, but Wisconsin's going after him. And it sounds like the Badgers may be leading for his services right now. He's got his official visit in Madison on June 13th. Oh, and by the way, he's fast. Super fast. 40-yard dash, 4.3. Yeah. He may jump to a 4-star. He's currently a 3-star. He may be a 4-star pretty soon. So you get a receiver like that, I don't know, maybe Luke Fickell's vision of an air raid is back on. What do you think, Wisconsin fans? I don't know. All right, coming up, we have our top 10 Big Ten observations from the weekend. A lot of baseball and softball in there. That's all coming up. We'll see where your favorite teams land on all this. It's coming up here on Locked On Big Ten. All right. We do features at the end of our podcast. If you're new to us, here's what we like to do. Every Monday, we like to do our top 10 Big Ten observations from the weekend. Tomorrow, we'll do Tuesday tweets. Send me one at Twitter. Talk Big Ten, number 10. Wednesdays, we like to power rank cool stuff because it's fun. Thursdays, we look ahead to the Big Ten Network schedule. We highlight a few things with Big Ten classics and live action, and then we always do some sort of pick 'em. By the way, did you catch last Friday? Go back if you missed it for a second listen to last Friday's episode. We did pigskin picks, kind of a warm up because the lines are out. The betting lines are out for the first week of college football. So we put them out there, did kind of a dry run. It was fun. Go check it out on our previous podcast from Friday if you missed it. In the meantime, let's do this. We got our top 10 Big Ten observations from the weekend. We'll put them on the screen here. If you're audio only, no worry. We'll describe it in detail. It's a top 10 list. Start off at number 10. Congratulations to Michigan State hiring an athletic director, J Batt. I tell you who the happiest person in East Lansing is, Tom Izzo. Tom Izzo's a guy that will do anything for his school, and that means, even though he's like 70 years old, a basketball coach, he'll step in and be the temporary athletic director if need be, and it was needed to be, and he did it. And but he's glad it was a short-term deal. Now he can get on maybe with his summer, his couple weeks of summer that these coaches have. And that was a fast hire. I gotta admit, sometimes these things go on forever. Kind of makes you wonder if they already have these things in motion. But yeah, J Batt, the new athletic director at Michigan State. All right, now on to other stuff. Let's give a little shout out to Nebraska baseball. They were able to stay alive in an elimination game against Holy Cross on Saturday in the NCAA regionals with the 4-1 win. So, look, nice season. Back-to-back titles and just a great season for the Huskers. Congratulations to them. But that is all over with now. Want to give a shout out to USC baseball. They had their 6-4 win over the weekend against St. Mary's. A lot of this is baseball and softball moving forward. Another shout out to USC baseball because in their Friday win against TCU, scored 13 runs. It's pretty impressive. Yeah, the bats were swinging on Friday night. And same thing for UCLA. So I put them in here. UCLA baseball at number 6. Got their 11 runs scored versus Arizona State on Saturday. And that was a continuation because you can probably guess here at number 5, UCLA baseball, their 19-run outburst versus Fresno State on Friday. Very impressive. Sometimes when a team gets that hot, you always wonder, man, can we save a few runs for later? Because you know how baseball is, man. It is up and down. One day you score 19, the next one you just a handful scratching out some runs. Number 4, speaking of that 19-run outburst against Fresno State, want to dial this in on an individual basis because in that 19-run outburst against Fresno State, they had 3 home runs. Peyton Brennan, Cashel Duggar, and Roman Martin all going deep for UCLA with the long ball. So I wanted to make mention of them on our top 10 Big Ten observations from the weekend. And what else we have here? Number 3. Okay, on to softball. Oregon softball. I mentioned Lindsey Green, 9 1/3 innings, 144 pitches, and 7 strikeouts versus Ole Miss over the weekend. Wanted to give her a shout out. That was a great performance. Again, got to ice down that arm. At number 2, UCLA's softball, Megan Grant. Bottom of the 7th, 2 out. The 2-run tying a home run versus Tennessee that we talked about. That was the one that they reviewed, but then they announced that was not reviewable. Home run counted, whether she touched home plate or not, with the back of her heel. So that kept the game going. Unfortunately, they did lose that one. And then I want to put this up here. Number 1. I thought this was the coolest moment of the weekend. Actually, going back to Thursday, more UCLA softball. Jessica Clemens with that walk-off home run versus Oregon. That was pretty dramatic. Had 2 Big Ten teams going at it head-to-head, and I thought that was the coolest moment. And not so for Oregon fans. I get it. But for UCLA fans, I thought that was the coolest moment of the entire weekend with all the softball and all the baseball going on with the Big Ten teams. So congratulations to her. It was quite an electric moment as well. In the meantime, that's it for our top 10 Big Ten observations. Let me know if I left something off the list. We'd love to hear from you in the comment section. Go ahead and tell me. But I think that was pretty inclusive of a lot of different things. All right, couple of things. Always invite you to go back for a second listen and check out another podcast, like I was talking about the Pigskin Picks on Friday. Be sure to hit that subscribe button if you don't mind. It's free, and that way you'll never miss a single episode. And we are pushing hard. We're about getting close to 18,500. Our push is to get to 20,000 subscribers before the start of football season. When we started 2 years ago, this month, as a matter of fact, they gave us 1,000 subscribers. Here, go. Grown it to almost 20,000 with your help. Thank you if you've already done that. But if you haven't, go ahead and please hit that subscribe button. And if you could share, follow, and like. I know if you're a Big Ten fan, you know other Big Ten fans that probably don't even know we're out here every day. Every day with Big Ten, all 18 teams, all these sports, with news, analysis of the news, and opinion, all under one umbrella. It makes this the most unique Big Ten podcast in the world. So thank you for checking us out. If you are a regular everydayer, always appreciate that. Lots going on. Check out our another listen. And don't forget, these go on our website, talkbig10.com. All of our podcasts there. You can get school merchandise from your favorite Big Ten team, shirts, T-shirts, hats, pennants. All that stuff is right there at your fingertips at the bottom if you want to go to that. In the meantime, I also want to invite you to check out the Portal Show. Brian Smith hosts the Portal Show. Brian Smith is all in on, he knows all about recruits. He knows about the portal. He's got it locked in. I know the portals are closed as far as entering it, but all these athletes got to find a place to go here before the fall gets underway. So he's got a line on all of that. So check it out. It's the Portal Show on YouTube or wherever you catch your podcast. We always invite you to check him out as well. Thank you for checking us out. We never take that for granted. We appreciate our daily visits each and every day. And already I can't wait to talk to you again tomorrow. Unless something else breaks, I'm leaning toward jumping into the conference battles. Brett Yormark of the Big 12. He doesn't like what's going on with the Big 10 and the SEC and the college football playoffs. We might dive into that a little bit more in addition to our Tuesday tweets. So tune in for that. We can't wait to do it all over again. For Locked On Big Ten, I'm Craig Shemon. We'll talk to you next time.